The road back. The next morning, none of us spoke about what we saw in the house. Not the footprints, not the voice calling Emily's name from behind the walls, not the moment the glass shattered without a hand touching it. We sat in Mark's Jeep, the forest blurring past the windows, each of us breathing like we'd sprinted a mile. Tyler kept checking the rearview mirror every few seconds. Emily kept rubbing her wrist where something had grabbed her the night before, an imprint of fingers still faintly visible. For a long time, only the engine filled the air, until Mia whispered, barely audible, "If we leave, it'll follow." Nobody argued, because we all felt it, the wrongness, the weight, the sense that we hadn't escaped anything at all, just moved the danger somewhere else. Mark kept his eyes on the road, but his knuckles were pale. "Guys, the woods look different." He wasn't wrong. Yesterday, the forest had been open, peaceful, sunlit. Today, the branches hung low, like ribs closing around us. The air felt humid, heavier, and the road, the usual gravel track, looked freshly disturbed, like something had been dragged across it for miles. Not an animal, not a human, something bigger. A cold shiver spread through the Jeep. Emily broke the silence first. "Just drive faster." But the moment she said it, the radio, dead since last night, crackled to life. A child's voice whispered through the static, "You shouldn't have left." Mark slammed the radio off, but the voice kept whispering from inside the air vents. The Lost Mile. We drove for another 20 minutes, but the longer we drove, the more it became obvious we weren't getting anywhere. We passed the same crooked pine tree, the same fallen log, the same rusted road sign, 3 times. Tyler finally said it out loud. "This doesn't make sense. We're stuck in a loop." Mia's voice trembled. "It wants us to come back." Emily closed her eyes, exhaling shakily. "No, it wants something else." She didn't say what. She didn't have to. And then, the Jeep jerked violently, like something massive slammed into it from the side. Mark fought the wheel. "Hold on!" We skidded across the dirt, dust exploding everywhere, before the Jeep finally stalled. The engine died. Silence. Dead, choking, suffocating silence. Tyler stepped out first. Was it an animal? No. Behind the Jeep, the dirt was carved into deep lines, claw marks, each groove nearly a foot long. Mia backed away. Whatever it was, it crawled. It crawled toward the house. Mark checked the tank. Full. Battery? Dead. Engine? Perfect. Nothing should have been wrong. Something was breaking the Jeep from the outside. Emily swallowed hard. "It wants us to walk back." And that was when the forest wind carried the sound. A faint, dragging thud, 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 coming from ahead. Slow, patient, heavy. Something waiting. Something that knew we had no choice. Tyler whispered, "Guys, we're not alone out here." The return path. Fear rising. The walk back to the house shouldn't have taken long, but the deeper we went, the colder the forest grew. Our breath fogged white despite the warm season. Emily's steps faltered every few minutes. She kept glancing at the trees as if something was moving with us. Branches snapped in the distance. Twigs broke. A low, wet breathing echoed behind us. But every time we turned, nothing. Not a shadow, not a figure, not a creature. Yet the feeling of being watched sharpened with every step. Halfway there, Mia suddenly stopped. "Do you guys hear that?" We listened. At first, nothing. Then, a faint humming, a woman's voice, soft, broken, like someone trying to remember a lullaby. Emily froze completely. "I know that voice! It was in the house last night!" The humming grew louder, clearer, closer. Tyler grabbed her hand. "Don't listen to it." But the melody curled through the trees like smoke, wrapping around our ears, our necks, our thoughts. A song that felt like it had been meant for us long before we were born. A song meant to guide us into the dark. We ran the last half mile, ran without looking back, ran until the house appeared between the trees, cold, dead, waiting. Back to where it started. The house looked older now, like it had aged 50 years overnight. Windows fogged, wood warped, porch slanted, as if life had drained out of it and something else had taken its place. Tyler swallowed. Might as well get this over with. We stepped inside, and immediately the air changed. No dust, no cobwebs, no broken glass. Everything looked clean, too clean, like the house had prepared for our return. Emily whispered, shaking, "It's expecting us." Mia touched the staircase railing and flinched. "It's warm, like someone was holding it." Mark checked his phone. No signal, but the screen flickered. Then words typed themselves across it. "You came back. Good. Come upstairs." Emily stepped back, trembling. "I'm not going up." But then the footsteps started again. Slow, heavy, on the floor above us. Thud, 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 crossing the upstairs hallway, stopping directly above our heads. We stared at the ceiling. Then a soft whisper seeped through the wood. "Emily, you left something here." Her blood turned to ice. Tyler grabbed her. "You're not going up there alone." But Emily wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on the top of the stairs, her breath short, shallow, terrified. Something was waiting, something that remembered her by name, and something she remembered too, though she didn't know why. That was where we left off. The staircase looked different, darker, older, the wood swollen as if it had absorbed too much moisture or too much blood. A faint draft brushed past us from above, carrying a scent none of us recognized at first. Then Mia whispered, "It smells like old perfume." A woman's perfume, faded, floral, sour at the edges. Emily swallowed hard. "That's the same smell that was in the bathroom last night, right before the lights went out." Tyler put a hand on her back. "You're not going up there alone. We stick together." So we did. One step, a pause. Second step, the wood groaned like something underneath was breathing. The house seemed to lean closer, listening to every footfall. Halfway up the stairs, Tyler whispered, "Do you guys feel that?" We all froze. Yes. The temperature dropped so sharply it felt like we'd walked into a freezer. Our breath hovered in front of our faces, swirling like smoke. Mark rubbed his arms. "It's colder here than outside. How is that possible?" Mia answered without meaning to, her voice weak, unsteady. "Something died here." She wasn't wrong, not by a long shot. At the top step, the house sighed, a long, slow exhale, as if something was waking up. The hallway, the upstairs hallway, was darker than it had any right to be. The windows were open, daylight pushing in, yet the shadows remained thick, unmoving. The family photos lining the walls had changed. In part 1, they were faded and torn. Now, they were pristine, frames polished, glass clear, faces smiling as if captured yesterday. But something was off about the faces. Mark squinted. "What the hell? Why do those faces look—" He didn't finish. Because the woman in every photo, the mother, had no eyes. Every picture showed empty, smooth skin where her eyes should have been. Emily backed away instantly. No, 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 they weren't like this yesterday. Mia whispered, "It's the house. It remembers us. It wants us to see her this way." Tyler stepped closer to the photos, but the moment he raised his hand, all the frames tilted toward him at once. A soft click sounded from the end of the hallway. The master bedroom door slowly drifted open. Inside, the darkness looked alive, breathing, waiting. Emily shivered violently. "She's in there." Tyler tightened his jaw. "We need to know what she wants." But the house answered first. A voice, soft, female, broken, whispered from the darkness. "Emily, come back to me." Emily's legs buckled. She grabbed the wall, gasping. "I've heard that voice before. I swear I've heard it my whole life." Mia put a hand on her shoulder. "Don't go near that room." But it was too late. The floorboards behind us creaked. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. Something was coming up the stairs. We turned slowly. There was nothing there, but the footsteps continued, advancing toward us. The unseen weight made the boards bend inward one after another. Tyler pulled Emily forward. "Move, now!" We slipped into the master bedroom just as the unseen footsteps reached the top of the stairs. The door slammed shut behind us. The master bedroom. Inside, the air felt thick, wet, almost gelatinous. Every breath we took felt stolen. Mark flicked his flashlight on. The room was wrong, so wrong. The bed was neatly made, but the pillow was indented, as if someone had just lifted their head seconds before we entered. In the corner sat a wooden rocking chair, rocking softly, back and forth, back and forth. No one in it. The window curtains fluttered, though there was no wind. Mia whispered, "What happened in this room?" Then Emily pointed toward the dresser. There was a mirror on it, oval, dustless, perfectly clean, but the reflection wasn't ours. The mirror showed the room, the same rocking chair, the same bed, but 5 silhouettes stood behind us, all of them tall, all of them thin, all of them staring at our backs. Tyler's voice cracked. "What the hell?" Before anyone could move, the silhouettes in the mirror leaned closer, while none of us felt anything behind us. Emily covered her mouth, trembling. "I don't think those are reflections," she whispered. "They're memories." Mark backed away from the mirror completely. "We're leaving this room, now." But as he turned, the door behind us slowly, quietly clicked open. Not the door we came from. Another door. A hidden one. A narrow opening in the corner we hadn't noticed before. From inside, a soft scraping sound, like fingernails running along wood. Emily's eyes widened in horror. That room, that wasn't here yesterday. Tyler inhaled sharply. "It's a crawl space." "No," Emily whispered, her voice shaking violently. "It's where she died." The crawl space. The reveal begins. We approached the door, slowly, breaths trembling, hands cold. The scratching continued on the other side, soft, insistent, desperate. Mark pushed the door open. A narrow, low crawl space stretched ahead. Wooden beams, bare dirt floor, no light except what filtered in from behind us. But in the darkness, we saw her. A silhouette, small, curled, fingers dragging weakly across the wooden beam. Emily gasped, "Is that? No, no, no." Mia grabbed her hand. "Emily, don't go in." But the silhouette lifted its head, and a soft voice, the same one from the forest, the same one from the stairs, whispered, "Emily, you never should have left me." Emily's knees buckled. Tyler caught her. "Em, look at me. Don't listen to it." But she wasn't looking at him. She was staring into the crawl space, horrified, understanding something the rest of us didn't. Her lips trembled. I know her." We froze. Mark whispered, "What do you mean you know her? From where?" Emily shook her head violently. "I don't know. I don't remember, but I know her." The silhouette crawled forward, slow, painful, neck bent at an unnatural angle, hair matted, skin pale and cracked like dried clay. It reached the threshold, and its face emerged from the darkness. Empty eye sockets, mouth sewn shut, cheeks sunken, skin stained with old, dried earth. Emily screamed. Mia pulled her back. Tyler stepped in front of her. The creature stopped. Then, through a mouth that shouldn't be able to speak, a whisper escaped. "You were supposed to come back, to finish what we started." Tyler reached for the door to slam it, but the creature lunged. The last echo of Blackwood. Emily stood alone at the edge of Blackwood Forest. The trees behind her swayed with a slow, unnatural rhythm, as if the entire forest was breathing. She didn't dare look back. Not yet. Her clothes were torn, her hands trembling, and dried dirt clung to her skin. But she was alive. At least, she hoped she was. When Emily finally stepped out onto the cracked road, a weak dawn light touched her face. It should have felt warm, comforting, but instead, it felt cold, like the sun itself wasn't sure she should have survived. She walked toward the ranger station, the same one that had been empty the night she entered the forest. But now, a man stood at the doorway, a ranger she had never seen before. Tall, expressionless. His uniform looked old, faded, almost like it belonged to another decade. "Miss," he said quietly, "you came out of Blackwood?" Emily nodded. The ranger stared at her with an emotion she couldn't place, not fear, not confusion, recognition, as if he knew her, as if he had been waiting. "Not many return," he whispered, leaning slightly closer. "Not twice." Emily froze. "Twice?" she breathed. He didn't explain. He just opened the station door slowly, carefully, like he feared what might be standing behind it. Inside, the lights flickered, a radio hissed softly with static, and on the desk lay a clipboard, old, yellowed paper. Her eyes caught a list of names and dates. Silence. She stepped closer. Her heartbeat stopped when she saw it. Carter Emily entered Blackwood, 1994. Carter Emily, status lost. Her breath left her body in a sharp gasp. "That's not possible," she whispered. "I wasn't even born in 1994. The ranger didn't move. He didn't blink. Blackwood keeps its echoes. Sometimes it lets them out. Emily's throat tightened. Her skin felt ice cold. "I'm not an echo," she insisted. "I'm real." The ranger finally looked at her, really looked. Then he stepped aside, pointing toward a cracked mirror hanging on the wall. Emily's reflection stared back. Her face was pale, eyes darker than she remembered. Behind her, deep inside the reflection, the forest loomed, and a shadow stood exactly where she had moments ago, a tall, silent figure, watching, waiting. Emily spun around. No one stood behind her, but in the mirror, the figure hadn't moved. "You never left." The voice wasn't the ranger's. It wasn't hers. Emily backed away, heart pounding, but the station door slammed shut with a violent jolt. The lights died. Only the radio crackled, slow, distorted, before a single raspy transmission broke through. Emily Carter re-entered Blackwood Forest at 3:14 a.m. Status? Unknown. The ranger stepped into the darkness and faded from view. The mirror shimmered. The forest in the reflection shifted like a living thing. And then Emily's reflection smiled. She didn't. Pause. Long, cold, silence. The screen of the radio glowed one last time. Blackwood always takes back what belongs to it. The station went dark. The whisper of the forest rose outside, soft, steady, welcoming, and behind the glass, Emily's reflection lifted a hand and knocked. Knock, knock, knock. End, or maybe not.